Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Wednesday, the 20th of November, 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the share market might have hit a new high yesterday, but it fell today. In fact, it dropped another 0.6% to finish at 8,327 points. Telcos were among the hardest hit after Telstra dropped nearly 2%, while industrials and consumer discretionary stocks also fell. Among the large caps, there were plenty that dropped more than 1%. Westpac, Woodside, REA Group, Aristocrat Leisure, QBE, Xero, Brambles, Coles. CSL was the best of the mega caps. It rose nearly 1%. Downer came out with an update at its annual general meeting. It disappointed and its share price dropped nearly 1%. Web Travel Group was supposed to report today, but it delayed for 7 days. No real reason for that one. And WiseTech Global is under fire for holding a virtual AGM on Friday. It means Richard White, the founder and CEO, won't have to physically front shareholders. Interesting, that one. Story number 2, Australia's ambassador to the United States, Kevin Rudd, has made his first public comments since the US election, saying he will work to deepen US engagement in the Indo-Pacific, adding that American leadership remains indispensable. Now, this is the guy who was talking about Donald Trump, called him a traitor to the West, the most destructive president in history, a village idiot. You get the gist. Having said all that, Donald Trump has forgiven enemies previously. In fact, his vice president-elect, J.D. Vance, was very anti-Trump at some point, but seems to have turned things around. Looks like Donald Trump loves the convert more than anything else, and that's what Rudd is sounding like. Mr. Rudd said the Albanese government had done all the work and was ready to work with the new Trump administration. He said that the embassy in Washington has been working hard for this moment. He would try and sell Donald Trump on the benefits of the AUKUS nuclear sub-deal to American industry and jobs. He was speaking via video, so he couldn't actually answer any questions. That's a shame. Story number 3, furniture retailer Nick Scali said profits could be lower than estimated a month ago because one of its logistics partners has collapsed. Now, about 200 containers full of sofas and dining sets are stranded, mostly at ports. The company's name is Lion Global Forwarding. It collapsed. Basically, what it does is ship furniture from China. Nick Scali realised there were problems last month when they were asked to pay their bills early. The group obtained court orders for the shipping lines engaged by Lion to release the company's containers, so about half are now delivered, but there's still a stack at ports. Nick Scali's share price was down 2% today. Story number 4, ASIC is threatening superannuation fund executives with penalties if they don't fix their customer service failings, and it's telling boards they're responsible for improved governance. Today, the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority warned CBUS that it was still under investigation around governance after the super fund rubber-stamped 3 new CFMEU-linked directors to its board. Over the past week, we've had ASIC launch action against CBUS, alleging it delayed paying up to $20 million in death and disability payments to people most in need. CBUS is also under fire for making payments to the CFMEU. Another giant of the industry, Hester, will be forced to compensate more than 120,000 members who had their retirement savings stranded in unlisted property assets when valuations tumbled in the early days of COVID. The superannuation watchdog APRA says Hester's processes were inadequate. It is a sector under the spotlight at the moment. And story number 5, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will pay $5 million to any Gaza resident who returns a hostage, plus ensure safe passage out of the war-ravaged territory. It's the latest twist in what's been an unsuccessful attempt to get the 101 hostages home. Talks between Hamas and Israel to free the hostages have stalled after attempts to reach a ceasefire failed. Benjamin Netanyahu visited Gaza overnight. He said Hamas would not rule the Palestinian territory after the war ends. That's it for the afternoon report for Wednesday, the 20th of November, 2024. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.